This ship is the CSS Alabama. The CSS Alabama was a Confederate cruiser built in England during the Civil War. Now, the Alabama was needed by the Confederacy. The Confederacy, at the beginning of the war, had a huge cotton trade. Like, they had an industry, like a trade of cotton from the South to Europe. And that was the South's major export to Europe, cotton. And that's how they became rich. But when the Civil War broke out, the Union, with their navy, built a blockade on the South, which means they had ships blocking all the southern ports, so they couldn't trade cotton with Britain anymore. Now, Britain has all these textile mills, and they need cotton so they can make their clothes in the factories. So Britain, who does not want to get involved in the war, is trying to find a way to help the cotton trade continue without any actual fighting and loss of British life. So what these guys do, they build a cruiser for the Confederacy, because the Confederacy didn't have that much of a navy. So the British, with their huge navy, built a cruiser and gave it to this guy right here. This is Commander Raphael, captain of the CSS Alabama. The CSS Alabama was built by the British, and he is captain of it. So this guy commanded this ship. Now, what this guy did with that ship was amazing. With this ship, he destroyed thousands, well, not thousands, but many Union merchant ships and vessels. But when here's a picture of Raphael, the captain, on the boat. This is a very famous picture. I don't know if you guys knew that this guy was Raphael, and he is actually on the boat. Well, there he is. He's on the boat of the CSS Alabama with his crew there. Now, the CSS Alabama is going all over the world. It's not just in England and Europe. It's fighting all over the place. It captured a U.S. ship called Texas. It captured all the sailors on the boat. They boarded it and they had a battle. And the CSS Alabama was getting worn out. So what they did, they went to their friends in France and wanted the ship to be repaired in France, the city of Cherbourg, France. So the French let them, and they were there for like 3 days. But then a boat came, the USS Kersing. The boat intercepted news that the CSS Alabama was docked in Cherbourg, France, which they really were. So this boat wants to get revenge on the CSS Alabama. The CSS Alabama is one of the major wooden ships out there. I mean, it sunk a bunch of ships, and this boat wants to destroy them. Lincoln is getting fed up with all these sinkings, and Lincoln, all he's doing is desperately trying to stop Europe and England to fight with the Confederates. The Confederates want England to help them fight and win the war, just like the American Revolution with the French and the Patriots. So what this guy does, he intercepts the messages that the Alabama is docked in Cherbourg, France. So he takes his boat and moves towards there. A couple days pass and he's in Cherbourg, France. They have a ship battle. It was a very, very famous ship battle between the CSS Alabama and the USS Kersing. It was a very bloody battle. Not bloody, but the boats circled each other for a while. From eyewitness accounts, they're circling each other and they're firing at each other, just like if you saw the movie Pirates of the Caribbean with the whirlpool, that was pretty cool. That's what they're doing. They're circling each other and they're firing at each other. Now, this boat, specially designed, it had metal chains running down the sides of the hull and the sides of the ship, which helped stop Confederate cannonballs ripping through the wood. Now, the Confederate CSS Alabama took a direct hit near the, like, around here, like around there maybe, I don't know, somewhere there, and it started to sink. Unfortunately for the Confederacy, they lost one of their major ships, CSS Alabama. Now, the CSS Alabama was there to stop the blockade, so it was there to beat back Union ships that were blockading the Confederacy. And they wanted to, this was one of their major ships, so they wanted to show it off, and they were fighting other U.S. ships. They did a really good job. Now, CSS Alabama is a very famous Confederate ship, and this is what it did fighting overseas in Europe. It'll always be remembered.